All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kinville Show.
Happy Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, coming at you live from the basement. And this week's episode is the long-awaited Cryptid Show. That's right. It's going to get spooky this episode. At the top of the episode here, before we really get into the cryptids, we are going to kind of tease it out a little bit, drag you in, pull you in. We're casting the line right now. But we kind of had like a couple, we got a lot of comments like over the course of our podcast here. And I didn't know if we wanted to kind of go through them a little bit. I know the comments I actually read myself were all from Tanner. Shout out again, Tanner. Glad you enjoyed the show. And you know, it really seemed like you were able to actually listen to the whole thing. And whether or not that's because like you would opt to hang out with us in your free time anyway. Like, that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you would already be... Like, if Tanner was sitting here in the room with us, like, the conversation really, like, it's going to flow just the same, right? So that's partly why I think he was able to make it through the whole video. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure also we're entertaining, too. I think obviously we are. But other comments...
Where are you going with this?
I'm just going over some of the comments on our videos. Another comment that I read, somebody was saying that an hour is really even too long for them. Like, I've been hearing some people want it like briefer. They want it to keep it brief, and I feel like I get it. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but you are missing the point. Like, if you're coming on here and like, oh, this is too brief. Like, if you're not interested, if you're fading out, like if this format doesn't work for you, that's fine. But you are missing the point. Like, I think we could go longer if we wanted to. I think, we've been hitting a good time stamp. But
personally, I think an hour is like bare minimum for a podcast. If it's not more than an hour,
I don't even click on it sometimes because I know I'm gonna have to fuck with my phone within the next 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Especially when you're doing something like if you were doing a chore, like either split, like for you splitting firewood or leaf blowing, mowing a lawn or something. I mean, a lot of the time you're going to be out there for longer than an hour, so it's easy to just throw it on and listen to it.
Exactly.
And when they talk about something that they're showing on TV or whatever, maybe you stop and pull your phone out, or you just listen to it. A lot of podcasts are good about describing what they're showing on screen.
Well, and that's kind of my thought. That's how I enjoy every podcast I listen to. There are some shows I watch, like the H3 show, which is a much more visual show that you kind of have to watch. But I would say even that, I don't even watch it half the time. I just have it playing in the background while I'm doing other things, whether I'm working or playing Xbox. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the point. And I get it if it's not your jam. But this is, for a lot of people, this is their jam. And I hope to make it their bread and butter too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we don't, that's all that was my only real take from the comments.
Yeah, I actually didn't look at any comments, so I don't know.
I've been obsessing over analytics. We've made $2.33 off the podcast so far.
Maybe
so keep watching those ads. Hopefully we can pay Carter back. Every time I come over, you spot more stuff. There's more crap down here, like
more gadgets and gadgets.
Yeah, more gizmos. There's another TV on the wall.
Well, we had that.
Yeah, that was from the scrapyard.
That was my computer.
You can kind of see it right up.
But yeah, so we keep evolving here. We're gonna keep growing.
It's just to make it more. I mean, it's more fun to do it when it's a real legit setup. Like nobody wants to come down and work with a pile of duct tape and.
Oh, I completely agree. I don't think that's what I said from the beginning. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. Get the stuff and do it.
It just makes it more fun.
Certainly very nice.
Well, and also
you've done a great thing.
So now I would say our audio quality is better than I would say like half the Barstool Sports podcasts because they just use like Zoom or something to record. And
Yeah,
you
it's
get that,
brutal.
Yeah, you get that Zoom audio. So
yeah, terrible microphones. Can you turn my volume up a little bit?
But yeah, so I mean that's it for housekeeping, I guess. We don't have to tease out the cryptids for too much longer. We do have a cryptid expert, a cryptid zoologist. Now we did have a little bit of a switch up, but this is nothing. It's actually better. So initially, I did have a cryptid expert that was going to call in, and it was going to be something educational, informational. But it probably would have been a bit slow, nothing gripping, right? It could have been entertaining, but I think what we ended up with, in place of that, we were able to get in contact with a cryptid zoologist that is actually live on a stakeout, live on a hunt. Yeah.
You put my headphones way too high.
Oh, that was yours that I was adjusting?
Yeah, I didn't notice a change. I can hear.
Is that better?
Oh, that's a little loud now. I think I'm complaining because I can hear Caleb yelling outside rather than coming through my headphones.
Is it just? Am I just talking too loud?
I think
you guys need to talk louder, though.
I think you got to move your mic closer to your face.
Is that better?
That's better.
I think you gotta shut up
and turn me down a little bit. That's good. That's better.
Well, hopefully that's it for our housekeeping. Hopefully my microphone stays where it needs to be.
Try to do that before we start, but doesn't always happen.
Yeah, we try and do we try and we'll try again. And nothing's gonna slow us down. But back to what I was saying before all this, before we got sidetracked here. Cryptid zoologist live on the stakeout, on the hunt, in the hills, West Virginia. In the hills, West Virginia,
Smoky
looking
Mountains.
for the Wendigo. Mm-hmm. So we have her calling in. She does wish to remain anonymous, and this is it's a very hot take in the cryptid scene because to come live on the air, to expose yourself, especially live on a stakeout like this is. I totally get the wish to remain anonymous. That's respect for even coming on the show. A lot of these cryptid people they'll hold on to that footage. They'll put it in their attic or something. They don't let anyone see this. Like this in the cryptid community.
It's an heirloom.
I don't know what it is.
It's a family tradition.
So just to have them calling in, this is gonna be crazy. And
real whistleblower-esque.
Do we have a lead time on that? Do we know?
Their lives could be in danger from our government, from governments of other countries.
Honestly, so you got to think of that. Probably, like if you're gonna be somebody out here that is constantly towing the line of being a whistleblower, essentially. I mean, look what they did to Snowden. These cryptids,
crypto coins.
These cryptid zoologists, they're putting their neck out there to keep us up to date and keep us informed on.
Bring us the real facts.
Facts because they don't teach you all this in school. As a matter of fact, they probably don't teach you any of this in school. They don't
teach you anything in school.
That's why you have to get it here tonight. This is the real education. Welcome to it, the Cryptid Live Show. Do we have is our zoologist ready? Anyone get a lead time on that?
6:45.
6:45. All right, cool. So just a couple short minutes here. We'll get our cryptid zoologist here for you. Curtis does have the homunculus presentation. We are saving that. So you never know. This is our first time calling in, so we didn't know even if the thing is going to work. Okay, here we go. They're calling in right now.
Must be the cryptid expert.
The zoologist. Cryptid zoologist. Hello, cryptid zoologist.
Hello.
Hello, that is me.
Now, I understand you're out in the hills of West Virginia, and you are on the hunt for the Wendigo.
That is correct. I am out right now. I've been out here for a few hours. I haven't seen many things. I've seen a little bit of scat and what I almost saw what looked like a trail of blood.
Oh, shit.
So
No.
do you is this would you consider this a live Wendigo pursuit? Do you feel as though you've seen enough evidence to consider this a live pursuit?
Yes, you know, there were a few things. I saw a few scratches in some trees, like in the bark of trees.
What actually is a Wendigo?
Well, so, you know, I have been trying for a long time to figure it out, actually. I have been on the hunt for years and years. And as far as I know, it is somewhat of a humanoid creature, just wacko, completely wacko.
Well, and that's part of it is they're kind of a shape-shifting being, if I understand that right. They have some kind of mind manipulation thing that they do, so they could appear to you as a friend, as a family member. It's a very tricky, very fickle creature.
Expert, what kind of evidence have you seen so far in your ventures?
All right, well, so I've been hunting for approximately 15 years now. And
You got some
I'll
mileage.
tell you what. Yeah, very much. I'll tell you, this is the most major thing, the most major evidence I ever found. There was a house. It was owned by a family. I stumbled upon it, kind of going through the woods on a trek, right? And I went up and knocked on the door. I heard a slight amount of disarray inside.
Yeah, what sort of
went
things?
up-
What sort of disarray? What are we talking about here?
Well, so I'm knocking on this door. There's no response, but I am hearing some crazy stuff inside. And then I see through a window, I see a freaking Wendigo through the window of
This
that
is a
home.
real Wendigo.
Yes.
So you've seen
I
a real
swear on it.
Wendigo.
I swear on it.
This is a first-hand account.
Any photo evidence?
I did not have a camera or anything on me at the time, unfortunately. So you just have to take my word
Dang.
for it.
You know, and
But-
this is one of those scenarios that you often hear about, and it's one of those moments where even if you had a camera, you know, if you are face to face with a Wendigo, even if you had a camera, would you even have the presence of mind to even pull that out and take a picture, or would you just be worried about your safety and getting out of there?
Yeah, so you're sitting there,
Well-
you're at the door, you're looking at this Wendigo. What's going through your head?
Well, quite honestly, I don't think I would have had the peace of mind to take a picture. I freaked out. Like, I tried to stay calm, but simply I turned around. You know, I turned around and I just ran as fast as I could. You have no clue what the Wendigo are capable of. Nobody has any clue. That is why I'm out here hunting and trying to find them to see
Now-
what exactly they are capable of.
You did mention earlier you did find some evidence of scat claw marks on the trees. You did say there was blood on the trail. So what are the odds you actually find another Wendigo tonight? What are your chances, you think?
I think maybe, you know, based off of what I've seen so far, I feel it in my soul. There is Wendigo out here tonight. I feel it deep within my soul. You know?
I
So-
I was very pleased when we were able to get in contact with you, because we had been told from many people throughout the cryptid community that this was probably the most, like, in terms of an on-air encounter, this is probably the close we could get to actually essentially like interviewing a cryptid. We everyone in the community said, you know, if we got you on the phone, you would be able to get us so close to a cryptid we could hear it. And so I'm very pleased to hear that you're out hot on the trail of a Wendigo.
Yeah, you know, it's been a couple hours, seen a few things. I'm having some oh shit. Oh shit.
What's wrong? What's happening? No,
Oh,
cryptid expert. Cryptid.
Shit! What do you think happened to her?
Did we lose her?
The call dropped.
What the heck? Guys. Do we call somebody? Okay. Carter, while you're over there on the computer, can you start looking up? Can you look up West Virginia?
Can you track
police?
down her last GPS location for us?
See if we can get see if you can triangulate the coordinates of that call and email it to West Virginia State Police. I think we just had a live Wendigo attack on air. This, guys, if you're watching right now, I don't know how you're not sharing this like crazy. This is the biggest news in the country right now. I don't know what would be happening in the news cycle to not make this front page news. This is live on the air. A Wendigo just attacked live on the air. Can we get some coverage, please? If you are in West Virginia, if you have a flashlight, get out there and get after it. This we as a cryptid community, we have to look out for one another. We can't have another victim fall into the Wendigo. We have to, as a community, we have to look out. I don't know what to say, guys. My breath has been taken away.
Lots of words on
Chills.
that one.
Chills.
I don't think I'll ever be going to West Virginia. I can tell you that. Not if there's Wendigo creeping around there. You got to think too. This is an expert. They're well versed in cloaking tactics, self-defense tactics.
Is it sort of like a skinwalker?
I think it's the same thing.
I actually don't have any idea what a Wendigo is.
They are the same general, blood hungry, in your face sort of monster.
Unfortunately, that
A skinless-
camp over there died. Our stream dropped for some reason.
Do we lose the whole stream?
No, it dropped for a minute, but it looks like it's back going now.
Guys, the Wendigo's fucking with the stream. They're
don't
coming
want
for
you.
us.
No, they don't want this information
You
out.
might have to watch the re-uploaded live to catch the.
Yeah, I mean, this was
No, it literally just happened.
Putin is watching the stream. He's trying to run a little defense on us. He doesn't want the truth coming out. But I'm sorry, truth is the truth.
Why they have cryptids in Russia?
Oh, big stuff in Russia.
I think Russia built most of the cryptids. Let's be honest. I saw this movie.
Do you think they're Russian homunculus?
No, you guys have heard the Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
I think
know,
you know.
some
Is
shit's
that
going on in
considered cryptid though?
It's not. It's not.
it's
the
considered a creepy pasta, which is basically the same thing.
It's a similar vein of.
Yeah, I was gonna say creepypasta. Well, creepypasta and cryptids are pretty similar.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Slender Man and
the story behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, this whole cryptid episode, but honestly, that's why I never wanted to give us a topic because I am so over this. I'm done.
Well, you want me to
thought it
start
would be
telling you
fun.
about homunculus a little bit?
We have to get into the homunculus because
Why don't we?
I think that's
You know what
probably
it
the
was?
most long.
Homunculus.
You know what,
Technically-
Rudolph? Ted said at the gas station. He said, "Cryptids, they're overdone. They're played out."
Yeah,
Who said that?
We just got
my man Ted at Valero. He said cryptids are played out.
we got a couple
he said-
comments that came in. I don't know if you want to if you can see.
On
that.
Amy's watching. Hi, men. That's what she says. Thanks for watching, Amy. Appreciate the views. Appreciate the support. Day one supporter. Air quote awesome supporter. Day one.
Whoa, Cassidy's right.
Oh, that's a true fact.
What if we just talked to the actual Wendigo?
Well,
They do impersonate voices.
the trouble though is
They
getting them
actively hunt.
on the phone.
We backed her into a corner, questioning her too much. She had to peel out.
You're saying you think we were actually talking to the Wendigo?
Yeah.
It's possible.
It could have been.
They shapeshift.
We could have been talking to a real Wendigo just then.
No, we're talking about cryptid whales.
All right. Do you want to know what I know about homunculus?
Yeah, let's dive into homunculus here because that was the one thing. Going back to Ted at the gas station, he said cryptids are played out. He said everyone's talking about cryptids, and I said, hang on, Teddy boyo, you heard of homunculus? And he goes, homunculus? What's that? And I said, tune in on Tuesday to find out. So here it is, the homunculus story brought to you by Curtis. And one last thing I would say, Curtis has been talking to me about homunculus before I even really knew how to use YouTube. I feel like you it's
I was
something,
hot on the trail when the videos were coming out originally.
yeah, well, so you and Carter are only 2 years older than me, so not like that crazy older than me. So there's only a few memories I have of thinking like oh man, like these guys, we're in different worlds. Like, and this was one of these moments when you guys were showing me YouTube videos, and Curtis is like going on about homunculus, and and like my brain is melting. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, these guys are plugged in. So yeah, it's always had a lot of lore in my own mind because of that. But I'll let you take it away. Tell us what you know.
Well, what I know about it is there was a guy in Russia making YouTube videos, and he started this series where he was trying to make a homunculus. And basically, what homunculus means is it's another word for tiny homemade human. That's one way of putting it. I don't really know. It started off in the medieval times. Alchemists would use alchemy and make these little humans, like little humanoid creatures, and that's what homunculus means, little humanoid type creature. So basically, you just make little people. And so this guy was following a medieval alchemist's writing on how to make homunculuses, and so that's how the video started this series. And he started off by taking a couple chicken eggs, and you take a chicken egg and inject it with human semen, and and you hatch a homunculus, and you're trying to hatch a little person.
Okay.
And a human mixed with the chicken.
And he started doing it a couple times, and eventually he figured out a strategy that worked, and he was able to create a couple of them and pull up. That's what a medieval homunculus looked like.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Wow, and they found this?
Is that on stream?
No.
Can you put that on stream?
Wow, that's a little too much.
So if you're just listening, this is a creature with a large chin, large lips, and big tongue. Very small head.
I believe he was only a few inches tall.
He's hung quite well, I must say, for a creature his size. But the hands are massive hands. So this is little tiny, skinny little body with hands that are like each hand looks like it has more mass than the entirety of the rest of his body.
This is what the alchemists would be creating in medieval times. And I'm not sure why they would create them. I think probably
what's the purpose?
I think probably for getting in little cracks and crevices and
For
stuff.
cleaning purposes.
Well, or for alchemy or something.
Yeah.
getting in to get the little gems out of the rocks or something, you know. Maybe they'd crack open geode and then you gotta send the homunculus in to get the crystals for the rest of their alchemy projects. I don't really know.
It does seem odd in this depiction. I'm really starting to question, so this picture we got pulled up here, that it's actually the only thing. Carter's fixing cameras right now, so it's the only thing you guys have been able to look at for a while, and it just has like this little man, okay, if this thing was born. If this was
on.
Yeah, full frontal from this little man, and you guys have been watching it for several minutes. I'm wondering, like, how does that even, he's born of a chicken egg, right? Like, how does that even happen?
Well, I think in medieval times, I think they use ostrich eggs or something like that.
Okay, so there's more room. There's more room to grow.
more
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, they had magic
Hey,
too.
Carter, next time we put something on stream, can we just make sure it doesn't have anything nude or no genitalia?
Yeah, I don't want to stare at his genitalia for.
To be honest, I couldn't even see it from back here. I didn't notice it. So. My eyes aren't that good.
Right, I don't think it really dawned on me that was on stream, because I knew what I was looking at. I commented on it pretty quick, but then I started thinking about it as I noticed it was hanging there on stream. All right, okay.
All right, so
enough of that drawing. We're moving on from that.
Yeah,
so
let's bring this
that's
to
an
what it
ancient-
looks like now.
Yeah,
because that is not what we see.
this isn't what I've seen on YouTube.
So I don't know how they hatched these homunculus men. He's a little bit different.
Carter, cut it back to Curtis on the stream. There you go.
He's a little bit different than the ones we see in the Russian videos, because the Russian videos he uses a chicken egg, and what they talked about with the homunculus people back in the medieval times is once you hatch them, you feed them a mixture of blood and milk to grow them, so this Russian guy, he didn't want to do that. He hatched these things. He had these little tiny, I don't know what they were. They're little oozy, little finger-looking things, and he said that it shrunk. It was just oozing and oozing and oozing, and it kept shrinking. So then he decided he'd put it in some water, and he was putting a little sugar in the water to feed it. So this homunculus was living in a little bit of sugar water. It wasn't much of anything other than just looked like a stem. Like a little finger stem.
Yeah, the way I remember it in the video, it actually looked like the way.
Okay, that's what it looked like there. That's a couple months in.
Just all right, so what we're looking at here, it looks like a plumbus in a glass of water.
Yeah, that's it, and it's sugar water, and so it developed that pink thing you see
it almost looks
out.
like a snake. It's like a little snake with a little pink tongue sticking out.
An hourglass shape.
And he
yeah, so sugar water. What else?
I'm getting sidetracked because I'm trying to talk about what's on screen and it keeps changing. That tongue that's sticking out is what would feed it. It goes out and licks the sugar water and feeds itself, and it eventually morphs into something a little bit more robust, and that will shoot acid out the top of it. And with the other power that it develops later on is it can electrify the water.
Really?
And you'll see in one of the videos, he puts a goldfish in the tank, and it electrifies the goldfish, and he's like, "Oh shit, the goldfish has been electrified and can't move anymore." He goes in to grab it, and the homunculus lunges at his tweezers, and the camera falls. We don't know what happens because the camera fell off the desk.
And that's kind of the end of the saga?
That's kind of the end of the saga for that one specifically. He stopped filming that one because he had to take it somewhere because it got a little dangerous.
Got too powerful.
He needed to put it in a lab to keep it somewhere. He grew another homunculus that looked more like a starfish and had one eye on the side of it. Jesus. And it would follow him around. But that's about as far as... I mean, it's in Russia. They don't have good internet. We don't know a lot about it.
Right.
But that's what I do know. Basically, the coolest part I thought about the story was it's a 1500s alchemy project.
Right. Well, I mean, it's definitely an odd... as far as being a true cryptid, this is definitely more of like a science experiment. But I just feel like it captures the spirit of cryptid.
Yeah, that's what sets it apart. It's like a
Frankenstein.
But it's all on YouTube to watch. It's not like you're looking for this.
This is something you can deep dive yourself on YouTube and go through the trials and tribulations of homunculus. It's
I did notice it was tough to find the homunculus video series though when I went to look for it last time. You really have to look and make sure the channel has a lot of subscribers, a lot of view count. They kind of shadow ban the channel, it seems like.
I'm sure they would. That's one of those, again, trying to suppress the truth. That's why we were having issues with our stream here tonight. They just don't want this info getting out there. Yeah, I mean, so that's that. I guess that's really it for the cryptid shtick. Like that's. I'd love to say we tried, but truthfully, we didn't even try that hard. Curtis put in some effort with the cryptid, with the homunculus.
I just watched a quick little refresher on homunculus. I do remember some of it from back in the day, but I did have to watch a little refresher, and that's what I learned alchemy.
You know what I want to know is how you stumbled on this in the first place. Like,
Well, this was from a
This was
time on
early-
YouTube when there wasn't many videos.
Well,
right?
not that
Like-
there wasn't many videos. There was no rules. So there was no rules on what popped up on the trending page. They didn't filter it. So when a homunculus, who knows what homunculus is, it got shared around and blew up real quick.
Right. Got a lot of
got
shares.
100,000 views real quick. Then it was like, okay, now this is trending. We'll put it on the trending page, and that's where you found it.
and you saw it there.
Yeah, and of course you're gonna click on what's a homunculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I found the Russian sleep experiment.
Wow, that was just creepypasta. That
Well,
was
yeah,
running
that was
around
a-
for a while.
Yeah. Well, the
That
thumbnail
probably
for
still
it.
runs around.
Yeah.
Yeah, every so often I'll watch that video late at night. The Russian sleep experiment.
You go, ooh, that was creepy.
I was like, oh, that was fun. Reminds me of when I was a kid. I've been telling myself, watching back some of these episodes, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wear black on the next episode. It just blends in too much with the couch, with the background. I was like, I'm not going to wear black. But I got this shirt at Dollar General the other day. It was like $8. I couldn't pass it up.
I didn't realize that you got a Mossy Oak T-shirt. I thought they just had Mossy Oak hats.
No, well, this long sleeve tee. Not just a regular T-shirt, long sleeve tee. Good for layering this time of year. Really goes good with my chainsaw hat and makes it look like maybe I shot something and cut it up for my kids.
You go hunting.
Yeah, I like to get out. I rifle around and I shoot.
How many people do you know that actually hunt?
I actually know a lot of people that hunt. Surprisingly, I actually know enough people that actually hunt that I don't think it's worth listing. Like it's a good bit. How successful?
It's a large amount.
How successful any of these people are, I don't know. I would say not very. Judging by the amount of venison they've shared with me, I'd say
know
not
a lot
very
of people.
successful.
I know a lot of folks.
I know. I happen to know a lot of people that dress like they're going hunting and say they're going hunting. Whether or not they go hunting or just get hammered underneath a tree, I couldn't tell you. But allegedly, I know a lot of people that go hunting.
Yeah, I know people.
A lot of the thing people go hunting, but they're just baiting deer, or they go hunting, but they go camp out a spot they know the deer are gonna sleep and blast them at night.
I know a lot of people that go on hunting trips and they never actually go hunting.
Well,
They hang out in the cabin and
yeah, I mean,
That's what it's about, just hanging out.
yeah, it's one of those things. Some people are
some
just in it
guys
for the
being
spirit.
dudes.
Guys being dudes. That's what it's all about. This past weekend, Calvin and I took a little trip back up to Vermont, our old stomping grounds. Visited with Ryder and hung out for a bit, and it was interesting. It was actually a lot longer of a ride than I remember. It's been a minute since I'd been up there. Calvin actually had been up there more recently than I had, so he probably had a better idea of what we had in front of us because he was trying to get me to turn around before we even made it halfway.
Well, not for real.
Not for real. We were goofing around. We were joking. Like I was actually the one that kept bringing it up. I
But
was like,
slightly
should we just
for
turn
real.
around? Yeah, slightly for real because it's a long ride. It's like a 4-hour ride.
It's a long ride, and then you're up there. For
We were there
we
for
were
how many hours? Like a handful of hours.
One night, God bless, thank Ryder,
yeah,
Veda. But
Yeah, they made it worth our time. We went to the only bar in town and hung out for a bit. We saw everybody from town.
Did you miss it?
I miss some aspects of it. Like
After being back, do you think to yourself, do you glad you're not going back this year?
I don't know. It's different just because it's like it's a lot of fun there and a lot of fun to be had, but I guess it can feel a little bit like Groundhog Day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Everybody was right where we left them, and I mean that in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy that that's the way it is. Like every day is like spring break or something. Like I don't know exactly how to describe it.
The simple life.
Oh yeah, and it's like Groundhog Day, right?
well,
like
it's just like here. I mean, you can leave here and come back in a year, and everything's the same.
more, yeah. I guess
Nothing's
so.
changing too
But
rapidly
I'm just saying, like,
here.
when you're at home, right, you're connected to your family, right? So you get to see your family grow and change. So you notice that, right? But where we were transplants in Vermont, right? Most of the people that at least I knew were kind of transplants in Vermont, even if they had lived there for a while, they weren't like born and raised, only a couple people I met there were actually born and raised in the area. And so it just kind of, I don't know, it just, I guess it almost seems like there's clear boundaries to it, in terms of like how many people can you meet? How many people are you going to see out? Like you are going to see the same dozen people and that's it. Like it's not a lot of growing and changing. I don't even know if this makes any sense. It's kind of,
I think when you're there, I think you're locked into a much smaller town and a lot less people are venturing off. I mean, you're not going to drive 45 minutes to go to a Hannaford.
It's a smaller town, and where it's locked in the mountains, it's like your next point of light is really far away, like much further than it is around here. And I guess that's what it is. Yeah, you're just cut off a little bit from the rest of the world, and there's some really cool things about that, but then there's also some less cool things about it. So I don't know. It's just,
I think it sounds like it'd be fun for a couple months, but after that, I think it just sounds like misery. Boring.
Misery.
Misery might not be the right word, but definitely boring. I mean,
the thing is, like, we were really committed to...
Well, it's only boring if you're losing the things that you like to do.
Right. And we
there's
were...
a lot of fun stuff you can do there still. It's like... But it's if you like hiking, if you like fishing, if you like hunting, or... any of that stuff, then it's a perfect place for all that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
mountain biking.
We were there because we wanted to ski, and that's exactly what we did. And because of that, I would describe it as paradise. I feel like it was world class skiing. I did it every single day.
Lots of art in the area.
It was an artist community. Lots of music. Lots of pottery. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that. Like I had so much fun there. I'd like to think that I won't ever leave it behind, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's like, oh, never going back there again. You know what I mean? Like a part of me is always going to be there. So, it's definitely like if the right circumstances arise, I could totally see myself back there.
Yeah, I mean, you go to college and you join a frat and you frat out for a couple of years, but you don't ever want to go back and live in your frat, right?
Yeah, that's
totally
what
different.
That's totally different.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet if you ask most of these guys, they say they want to go back and live in their frat. I'd be willing to bet most of them would say
I wouldn't get too off track because it's literally almost no different than living here.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's very similar to.
Well,
Wakefield,
I'm just,
or,
all right. Well, yeah, okay. What I'm more in referencing to your living conditions, the way you survived. It was basically you more or less camped under a roof.
No,
we lived with mice.
That's a terrible sell.
We lived with mice. No, hang on. Let's give it. Calvin, wait. Don't do. You can go and watch the videos. The videos exist. We're not slandering anything. Like you can go see exactly how we were living. It was lavished, right? It was nice. Okay, but let's just give it the worst possible sell real quick. Okay, let's give them a skinny, right? We had a wooden toilet seat. We had mice. The wind would blow through the house. What else?
You couldn't have
the wind would blow through the house.
If the wood stove was going, it was either too hot to be in bed or so cold that you couldn't.
Yeah, there's no happy medium with the wood stove. It was either too hot or too cold.
And that was the only source of heat.
No, we had heat. We just kept it really low because we didn't want to pay for it. Other things like we didn't really feed ourselves. We would get free food from the lodge. fun stuff.
Caleb would eat people's leftovers.
Yeah, I would. So the thing was,
digging in the trash can every night.
I was the trash guy. Okay, I was the toilet guy. I was the trash guy, and you get so accustomed to dealing with just complete foul filth, right? That when you're cleaning the lodge at night and there's half a steak and cheese sub that costs $17, okay, and there's half of that thing sitting there and it's still warm and no bite marks
or bite marks.
No bite marks. No bite marks. Are you doing
it with a bite mark?
If it was still warm, I might do it with a bite mark. This had no bite marks and it was still warm. And I took the steak and cheese sub and all the fries. The fries were a little more iffy than the steak and cheese sub.
Do you think knowing the price of it made it taste better?
I think it. You guys had those steak and cheese subs. You remember those?
Oh yeah,
the ones in the courtyard. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, from the trailer.
Yeah, those were good, weren't they?
Yeah,
I didn't have one.
You might not have been there. Might have been when Jess Curtis came up, but
yeah.
Anyway, it's a good sub. It's pretty big for the whole one, but this was just half, and it was still warm sitting there, and I ate it. No shame. It's like if I was gonna get.
And how'd you know nobody was coming back for it?
The lodge was closed.
Are you sure? You sure nobody was stuck in the bathroom?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh shit! I just ate half the sub. Now I gotta take a shit. Come back, and their other half was gone.
No, we always made sure the lodge was empty. We'd clear everybody out of there. One night, this guy was coming in off the mountain, and we had basically finished cleaning everything. Right, I have no idea where this guy was coming from, but he came off the mountain in the dark. And he comes into the lodge with his son, and he's like, the only reason this guy got in the lodge is because I opened the door for him, right? He's banging on the door, it's locked. He comes in and he goes, I parked way down in a far lot, and there's no more shuttles, and I don't have a cell phone signal, and I don't know where there's a payphone, and I don't know what to do. Like, a grown adult man starts having a panic attack, crying and breaking down in front of his son in the ski lodge. And I said to the guy, I'm like, listen, didn't you see all the signs? Like, I don't remember it now. Is it like 6 was the last jitney?
Yeah, I don't know.
Last
I wouldn't know that.
Last snow shuttle was at 6, right? Let's just say there's signs everywhere that say this. It was long after this, right? And the guy comes down, and he's like, is there any, like, asking me for help? And I just told him he can go to customer service inside the hotel because somebody's working there 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they can fucking deal with it because I was like, listen, man, I just cleaned the toilets. Like, you're lucky I even let you in here. Like, most of the guys I work with. They speak English, but they have the privilege of pretending like they don't, right? Like me, I can't exactly pretend like I don't speak English, right? It's not really going to go over well for me. But the guys I worked with, if they just pretended like they couldn't speak English, nobody thought anything of it. And guarantee you, like, if they were the ones vacuuming and this guy's pounding on the door, like, they'd just be listening to their music and probably would have just ignored him. Like, so I felt like I didn't owe the guy anything. I was like, yeah, go to the hotel. They got 24-hour customer service. Like, they'll help you out. But grown man, he was throwing a temper tantrum.
A temper tantrum or a panic attack?
What's the difference? What's the difference? Tantrum, panic attack. Just
one
being
of
a
them,
fussy bitch.
Yeah, well, in one of them, I picture the guy trying to be the big dog, big wheel, saying, "You gotta help me out." And the other one, the other one, I picture him.
No, this guy was falling apart like a child. He was like starting to hyperventilate.
Didn't you say that the lodge was haunted?
Okay, yeah. Actually, if you want to go back to cryptids, well, this is funny because. Perfect, great work, Calvin. What do you call this? Tie-in or slick? Good work. But yeah,
D'Angelo.
If you went into the old lodge at Sugarbush over at Mount Ellen, this lodge is very old, much older than I am, and one of the guys that I worked with said not too long ago, like it wasn't like in ancient times, but there's a staircase that an old man fell down and died. And it was so like
That's a real thing that happened.
It's a real thing that happened, and
Allegedly.
It's not even a legend. My boss told me about it because they had to replace the carpet. He was the one that had to replace the carpet.
What, because he bled all over?
Yeah,
it?
because this old guy fell down the stairs and bled all over the carpet
Oh,
so much.
Jesus.
They had to replace the carpet, and the guy was dead in there. Okay,
Like
Dead on arrival.
during a ski day.
Like midday or
I
what?
don't know if it was at night at a party or
Did
in
the
the middle of
Wendigo-
the day.
Did the
but-
Wendigo push
the
him
Wendigo
down?
was
But
probably
you can
there.
imagine an old man in ski boots trying to walk down a staircase.
And they did
Oh, yeah.
do a lot of parties in that building.
Yeah,
like,
and
a
he
lot
just
of
this
nighttime
whoever
events.
this guy was just tripped and probably went head first, smashed his head on the steps, and
Bled out.
blood everywhere. Right, like
Hmm.
that's all I know about it. But
Probably not uncommon. Probably not an uncommon thing.
so for sure, at least one confirmed death in this lodge. And yeah, I would say I had the most bone chilling, like paranormal experiences of my life in that building. Like just doors opening and closing when they're not supposed to. My Bluetooth headphones, like, unless like my headphones are like broken, right? I've never had static come through Bluetooth headphones. That ever happened to you guys?
No.
Like this, like my headphones. Sometimes the music would cut out and it just go like, "Pee!" like a really loud noise, and then the music would come back on in my Bluetooth headphones. This is something that would happen. Doors opening and closing. I'm just trying to think what else. Just like you're constantly thinking you saw a reflection of something. I think that just the doors opening and closing was the freakiest thing. Like,
The
Is that something you
the stall
ex-
doors in the bathroom, right?
yes,
Is that something you experienced before they told you that the guy died on the staircase, or did they tell you that somebody died first? And
No.
then-
So me and Edgar was my buddy I cleaned with every night, and me and him, we had this running gag that the upstairs of Mount Ellen was haunted. And then pretty soon it just became the whole lodge at Mount Ellen was haunted, right? Because we kept having weird things. And like Colin said, it was mostly in one of the particular, I think it was the men's room. The doors usually they were like weighted in such a way that they would stay like shut, right? On the bathroom stall doors.
Yeah.
So they would just stay pressed shut. So you'd go through the doors and you'd clean them, and then you'd go to the next one and you'd hear them closing behind you, right? One after another. Okay. There's no reason the door should like hard slam like somebody's slamming it. And in one of the stalls, you'd come out of it and you'd go right into the next stall, and as you're cleaning it, you hear the door creaking to go shut like it normally would, but instead of just and closing, right, it just go bam and slap back and forth. Like I'm not saying every time, but multiple times. Like this is happening. It's really bizarre. And like I don't consider myself a ghost person, you know what I mean? Like I was never like thinking like I'm gonna get possessed or something, but it's that odd that your hair, all the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you're just like I think I have to leave now. Like that's the feeling you get, and
You just quit cleaning the bathroom and just go to the next cleaning operation.
So
or
if
after
you
that happened?
if you were in there and that happened, you'd hightail it as fast as you can, like Scooby Doo, and you'd come get the next guy, and then we'd team up, and one guy would stand outside the door with a broomstick, just posting up, just making sure, keeping everything safe. And because sometimes that's it too, like. So for weeks we were like, are people messing with us? Like, what's the situation? And I'm telling my boss this, like how we joke around and say it's haunted. And I'm like, I don't know if somebody's just in there messing with us, like slamming doors and
Yeah, because
they're walking down halls. That's the other thing. It sounds like people are walking down halls.
There was a couple of different groups that used the building besides just the staff, the lodge crew. There was like a
Some of the lifties would be in there.
There was a adaptive sport
thing
that
business
they
in
used.
there. The cooks in the kitchen, they would be in there late. But so anyway, I was telling my boss how we joke around and say that's haunted, and that's when he goes, "Huh, it's funny because a guy did die in here." Probably shouldn't tell you this, but had to replace all this carpet because he just bled out right there at the bottom of the steps. really sad. Some 70-year-old guy, just fell, bled out. Probably shouldn't be telling you this. That's how I heard the story. But we were having experiences before we heard that a guy had died in there. But that just kind of added credence to it. But it could always be. I can always sleep at night because I could always be like, you know what? I don't know. The kitchen guy might still be here. The
well, you weren't
mountain
sleeping.
people.
You weren't sleeping at the lodge either. You were going home. It wasn't like you were in the haunted house.
Yeah, but I'm just meaning like in terms of like, you if you want to talk it up, you can talk it up and be like, that was so spooky, it had to be a ghost, right? Because me and Edgar, we'd go back and forth. Like we would rationally talk about it and be like, yeah, it could have been a draft, it could have been this, it could have been that, right? And we're like, yeah, it's nothing, and we go and clean, no big deal. But then it would happen again, and you'd be like, man, like my whole every hair on my body just stood up like that. That's how chilling it could be. And again, it's late at night, and we're supposedly the only two people in the building. And again, sometimes the other people were there, so you can always find other ways to justify it. But if you're open to it, you could call it a ghost, and it makes for a fun story. So,
speaking of stories, you never told your story of your encounter with the Mothman. That's something you teased, but never.
So this you can actually go back.
I wasn't done on the ghost. I wasn't done on the ghost.
Oh, you want to keep going on the ghost?
Well, I was just curious because I've never had any actual paranormal experiences that I can ever remember. So,
well, I think part of it is you have to be open to the idea that it could be a paranormal experience. Otherwise, your brain is going to logically write it off every time.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like you have to have a shadow of doubt in your mind and say, was that a draft?
Well, but I'm
ghost?
always like afraid. Even when I'm here, I'm scared when I walk. At night, I'll walk to the kitchen
and I'll
come back, and I won't look. There's a mirror when you're walking back towards the bathroom, and I won't look in that mirror out of fear of seeing something behind me.
Rational.
I'm not worried about anything inside the house. It just I feel like there's something like outside the window in the dark that's just staring back in at me. That's where the homunculus is.
The window into the darkness is probably one of the scariest things.
But
yeah, I mean, I think I don't care if it's dark in the house, then I'm not afraid of that. If it's day, if it's bright in the house and I can't see outside at all, then I am afraid of something looking in at me. But if it's dark in the house, it doesn't bother.
I always wonder like my attitude is always like I want to get like if I could have that thing from shoot, what's that movie now I'm ripping a blank on the movie, the one
Ben 10.
yeah, if I could have an Omnitrix. No, the haunted movie where there's the witch in the house and it possesses the mom, The Conjuring. If I could have that encounter from The Conjuring, I would love it. You know what I mean? Like that's the attitude I carry into the night.
I've been praying for something.
Like, give me. I want it so bad. You know what I mean? Why not? Because I don't think it's true. I don't think
it's
anything
like the same thing as seeing a real alien in real life. It would just confirm
paranormal.
It just confirms.
I want it so bad that I don't look at it as like a thing of fear. I'm like calling out using a Ouija board, like saying like curse me, haunt me.
But if you go back,
I want it, and
you go back to what you were just saying, though, you gotta have that doubt in your mind.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
by asking for it, you're not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no.
That's not how it works.
But I'm saying
they can sense that you're gonna like.
But
you're
the way,
a doubter.
Right? I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I totally agree with what you're saying. But the air I put out, right? The energy I'm putting into the universe is like. I bet you're real, but I bet you're too pussy to even come get me. I bet that's why you'd rather have me think you're fake because you're such weak ass weak ass sauce out here. All these spookums and stuff are so weak sauce that they'd rather me think they're fake than come and put up with me because they can't handle me.
That's the only thing.
Like that's the energy I'm giving the world.
That's the only thing I'm nervous about that house that I've been looking at is.
You think it's haunted?
It does look haunted.
Yeah, it's like it was like 1800, built
But
in 1800s.
you know, to tell you the truth, as soon as you do some landscaping, it won't look nearly. As
I don't
bad.
think it'll look. I don't think necessarily.
You know
the
what you
looks
do
of it.
to
I think that
fix a haunted house? What they say you do?
what?
Pour salt at the doors.
No, you gotta cut a hole in the roof to let the spirits out. You gotta leave a hole. In
You
the
gotta
roof.
bore a hole.
You gotta cut a big enough hole for the spirits to leave, and they'll find their way out the roof, and then
I think
anymore.
if you're actually worried about ghosts, I think basic things. Ghosts generally don't like mirrors. Like these people say ghosts appear behind them in mirrors. It's actually, I'm not even kidding, it's known ghost lore. They don't like mirrors. They can often get trapped in mirrors. Like that's part of where the whole something popping up behind me comes from. Ghosts don't really like mirrors. Cloves of garlic can be great.
I think
Holy
that's
water.
vampires.
Candles with pictures of Jesus.
But
all of these
not all
things
ghosts
can-
are mean though. That's the thing. They're not all
Yeah,
all
they could be
demonic
friendly.
ghosts.
You know
I'm just
who
saying.
has a
Right.
haunted house? John's mother-in-law.
Yeah,
You've heard about
supposedly.
this?
Yeah, she talks about it all the time. Apparently, Matt told us a story of she said, "If you're real, show me you're real." And this guy, she's laying in bed. The guy who haunts the house came out, hovers over her, looks her dead in the eye, and hovers back over. And that's and so she knows it's haunted, and she knows by who. But he hangs out with her. He sleeps with her at night sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So I went into the house. I went inside, and I gotta say it was very creepy. But
Oh, you hung out over there?
yeah, well, we went over to trim some trees and cut the grass, and it's a scary. I mean, it's just an old house. But,
John's right hand man now, huh?
Oh yeah, we get the job done. We do the work.
I was working at a place once that was it was a stone house. It was an old creepy house that was built in the early 1900s, and the whole outside of it was all stone. And I went there by myself to work, and the homeowner had been there.
Oh, you're there alone.
Yeah, I normally we show up with a few of us, and
Yeah, isn't that like that's not against code or anything?
no, I had my did I have my license at the time? I might have been still an apprentice. Yeah, technically an apprentice can't work by themselves, but
So technically, you had somebody with you.
Continue.
no, I was all by myself. So the homeowner had been there. I don't get the joke.
He's trying
That's
to
fine,
clarify.
that's fine.
You're talking about doing something illegal. He's trying to make it legal
Yeah,
for you.
I was trying. I was just trying to give you a cover your ass a little bit.
Oh,
but that's fine.
You don't have
It's
to worry
okay.
about covering my ass. It's not my ass on the line.
Yeah, true.
So the homeowner had been there, and I knew he was there. So I showed up there to work, and I didn't want to go talk to the guy. So I just walked into the basement because it was a walkout basement, and that's where I was working anyway.
Just started doing the job.
So I just started working, and the contractor shows up, and I hear, well, before the contractor showed up, I was working away by myself, and I could hear the guy walking around upstairs, and just sounded like he was getting ready for the day or whatever, going back and forth from the kitchen to the bathroom. And so I'm just, like I said, working in the basement. And I was surprised he never came down to see me, and the contractor showed up, and I said, oh, I'm so-and-so hasn't been down to see me yet. He's awake though. And he's like, oh, he left for the airport yesterday. Nobody's here.
Oh, really?
Oh no.
So you're just hearing footsteps the whole time.
it could have
Yeah,
very
it's a
well
little
been
freaky.
like rats or something too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know though. That's like again.
Dude,
So
they
that's
rationalize
what we're saying, right? So you're gonna sit over here and say, "So I've never had any paranormal experience." So Carter is willing to say, like, he's open to the idea that could have been paranormal, right? So you know, he could say, could it have been rats, or could you say it was a ghost? Like that's the difference here. Like, if you want to rationalize it, you can every time.
I constantly feel like somebody's looking at me or somebody's behind me, and if I turn around, I'm going to see somebody. And one other thing I wanted to go back to, when you're talking about summoning a ghost.
Yeah.
I constantly have this thought of an alien being in our backyard and opening up the door. You know, they can all communicate telepathically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I
Pretty standard.
and I constantly have the thought of me talking to the alien and telling him it's all right, everything's okay. If you need help, come hide in my basement, and I'll keep you from the government.
And this
Just
is
give me the
this is like a
secrets.
reoccurring dream.
It's
This
not even a
alien's grooming
dream.
you.
It's just like
Like a thought.
a feeling.
He's
I
just
have.
saying he wants it to happen, like you're saying.
Curtis
Curtis
Kinville,
wants an
alien
alien.
protector.
He wants an
do you
alien
remember?
to
Do you
show up
remember
here and
that
he can protect
old
it.
movie of the giant that lived in the basement? What was that movie called? You remember? You know,
Giant that lived in the basement.
It's like,
I'm familiar with Indian in the cupboard.
no. What's the name of the movie?
The Iron Giant.
No. It was
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
He's in the cupboard.
no. It was like from the '80s, and this guy was living in the basement. They were hiding him out, and he was friends
Oh,
with the
it's
little.
Oh, the Goonies.
Not the
The
Goonies.
Goonies? Are you talking
No,
about
it's
Chuck?
It's the show
What's
with
the-
Robin
what's
Williams
the-
where he's the alien, but he's in the attic. What's that one?
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
Nah, that's still not it.
God, we're lost here, man.
Alf.
I don't know. Alf.
Nah,
We talk.
I'm gonna
we
have to
doing
look
Alf?
it. I'm gonna have to look it up. But anyway, it's along
Marvin
those
Martian.
lines.
You guys
No,
remember
it's
Marvin
not.
Martian?
It's not a Martian. I'm pretty sure it's like a giant. He's a giant person or something. He's living in the basement.
Yeah, this is very.
He's hiding from the town.
Huh? Elephant Man.
No.
Oh, that's a cryptid right there. Pull up a picture of Elephant Man real quick.
An animal. That's Elephant Man. If you've seen the movie, that was a pretty good impression. I actually haven't seen the movie. I saw a clip on WatchMojo.com, and they used that clip in
Full
which
transparency.
he says, "I am not an animal."
Yeah, that's a tough skin disease. So
Yeah, it's really hot down here. The pellet stove has been cranking.
yeah, I got a little sweaty.
Yeah, I went from saying I wasn't gonna wear black to being thankful I'm wearing black, because if it was any other color, I'd just be filled with sweat stains. What are we? What's our timestamp at, Carter? Where are we clocking in on this episode?
We're at an hour and 2 minutes.
Hour and 2 minutes, right on the friggin' money. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just I would keep going because I'm having fun and I'm liking this ghost talk, but I am sweating sack.
Did you want to tell your story about Mothman, or is that not?
Yeah, we've been hearing
I'm
all
kind of
about
over
it.
the Mothman.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
way
think-
over the cryptid stuff. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I was just gonna make something up anyway.
I was gonna light your fire a little bit.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm
No.
over it.
I watched.
Oh,
I just
Alien
watched.
in the Attic. That's it. That's the one, right?
Oh, that was a good movie. I've been thinking about watching that again.
No, but I actually don't know what that is.
That's the one where we won one of the stuffed animals of the aliens in a claw machine. You remember? And they like fought 'em.
Oh, yeah, that's like a kid's cartoon one.
No, it's not a cartoon. I mean, they're animated aliens.
Yeah, but I don't know what the little blue guys.
Yeah. They had goggles. and stuff.
Carter, can you pull that up? Don't pull up with the audio, but remember it's the little blue guy and he's on the motorcycle and he's like, vroom, vroom, meep, meep. Like, you remember this? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'll see if I can find it.
On a different, completely unrelated note, when we were up in Vermont, we were just, jabberjawing like normal, and we hit on something. I was talking, should I do my liquids bit?
You can't say, "Oh, can I do my liquids bit?" and then do it,
Why not?
because then it's
This is like
you're
behind the curtain.
Then you're hyping it up already.
No, this is behind the curtain. I thought.
You know what I was gonna say though is
There's no hype.
I did unintentionally flash a older couple. walking
Yes,
their dog.
this is great. This happened in Vermont. First thing in the morning, sitting on the porch having a coffee. Calvin goes to take a leak. Heads off the porch straight towards the road.
All right, so this is a quiet road. I would say similar to,
Not many cars. Almost a private road.
It was.
It's basically a driveway.
There's like 3 houses, right?
Yeah.
And it's early in the morning, not early enough where people are leaving for work. But what I didn't take into account though is that it's a lot of retired people that are
and
able to
it's
walk
also
their
a
dogs
Sunday. You know, people like.
I didn't think about
Well,
that.
all right.
It was Sunday.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the
It was
Hendersons.
Bigfoot.
It was Bigfoot, but that's not.
Holy smokes, Curtis! All right. Well, I'm
Bigfoot
glad we
could be an
found it,
alien.
Harry and the Hendersons. After all
No,
this,
that is
after
a
we
But
knew.
that's what they
theory.
did. They took Bigfoot in. They kept him and they brought him back home and they put him in the basement. They
I
brought,
also
they
enjoyed-
brought Bigfoot back from the forest and plopped them in the basement.
I
And
like
that's what
Free
you've been
Willy
hoping for.
as well.
But
Free
it's an
Willy.
alien.
All right, flashing.
Yeah, going
Yeah.
back to Free Willy.
So I didn't really think much of it, so I walked towards the road. I mean, there's in the yard. There's a small section of trees, and then there's the road. So I'm like over on the side of the yard looking at the trees, but it's like maybe 15 feet through the trees, and you can see the road, and it's it's all the leaves have fallen, so it's very open. And I looked around, I listened, there was nobody around, and then I pulled down my pants and I'm peeing.
You pulled your pants down.
I didn't
Are you?
not drop them to my ankles.
His
You know what I'm
schlong's
saying?
out. You know what he's trying to say.
I,
Jesus.
just enough so I can pee without
I'm just-
getting wet. And
How often do you piss on yourself?
well, no,
More often than he needs to admit on air. So just
yeah, never intentionally, obviously, but
he's peeing,
so then
bird out,
pretty
right
much
next to the road.
as soon as the stream hits the ground, I see a dog, and then two
old
people,
couple.
an old couple, are directly in front of me, walking down the road, and so I cut it off and got a little pee on my pants and walked back up to the porch. But then
Do you think they saw you?
Yeah. Dude, the thing is,
It's a
the thing is,
50-50.
they were so close. Okay, so Calvin, this is from me and Ryder's perspective of sitting on the porch. Okay, Calvin literally, like he said, literally the urine just starts to hit the ground, and then we see this old couple like 5 feet away from
But
Calvin,
my
and
que-
Calvin is zipping his pants and walking back towards us.
Did they just materialize?
that's
That's-
exactly how it felt.
Again, from where I was
about
sitting on the porch, I can see all the way down the road this way, all the way down the road that way. So there's like this very small, like Bermuda Triangle, that I wouldn't be able to see because there's a little patch of trees and a bush in front of the porch,
Which is where I was.
which is where Calvin was peeing. So yeah, from where we were sitting, these people did materialize out of thin air, but I don't know how Calvin didn't see him walking down towards the road. That's the more confusing part.
I looked and I didn't see.
But also the more confusing part is that was not, in my opinion, I feel like most guys that pee outside, if you're used to peeing outside, you can usually look at an area and you can usually gauge where's the best place to pee, so that if anybody were in the area,
Right.
you're not wide out in the open, right?
I pissed right in
And-
somebody's driveway today.
Well,
Nice.
that's gonna make Calvin feel better. So yeah,
Good
he just
classic
picked a
Grandpa
bad
Wild Wing.
spot and got caught hanging brain right out by the street.
Not really. I don't think they saw anything. But then after, so we said hi to them as they walked by.
Well, no, they're like walking by with their dog and they're like, "Good morning," and we're like, "Morning," and then they're like,
And the guy did seem a little like upset.
yeah, the guy
almost.
seemed pissed.
The woman didn't. I don't think she noticed.
But then their dog had like some kind of like burrs or something from the
One of
bushes.
those. One of those sticky seeds.
Yeah, that leave all those little burrs. And
Yeah.
So now they're literally at the bottom of the porch steps in the road, right in front of us, picking the burrs out of this dog in front of us, and we're just trying not to die laughing the whole time.
How do you like Ryder's new place compared to where you were?
Well, so he's house sitting at this place, so it's not like
It was super nice.
it was like a Hallmark movie. It was
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was really. It was like what's that one with the baseball the guy's a baseball player, but he died.
He died, and then
But
he
they
comes
have-
alive on Christmas Eve to fuck his sister. Do you remember this Hallmark
The
movie?
guy,
No.
the snowman guy.
Yeah, they're like
shit,
making
no,
out.
that's
Jack.
Jack Frost. That's his dad. He's outside the window with the oven mitt on his head.
Comes back every Christmas.
Speaking of
Oh, my God.
caught exposed, I was working on a job, and it was right near. It was you had to get to it. You had to drive through the parking lot for a hiking trail. So it was a hiking trail parking lot, and it was like a big field, and you have to drive through it. And most of the time, people don't go through there because it's not like it was a horse barn at this place, but nobody goes to the horse barn really. There's nothing there. We just had to go there and do some work, but so we had to drive through this field and parking lot for a hiking trail. And like I said, I already don't have good eyes. Like I said, I couldn't see the homunculus from sitting back here. But so we're driving into the.
Pull up the picture again.
I'm driving through the parking lot, and up ahead of me, I see this person like leaned up against a tree, and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And I'm still driving because that's the way I have to go. I don't think they thought I was gonna drive that way. I think they thought I wasn't gonna get anywhere
They're
near
like, "Who the
that
hell
close
is
to
this
them
guy?"
because like I said, it's a field, and I could see quite a ways. So I start driving up to it, and when I get close, I'm like, oh, that's like a 60-year-old woman. And next thing I know, she like stands up and starts buttoning up her pants.
Oh no!
Poor lady.
She's smiling at me and just giving me a big wave, just waving.
Oh Christ!
And
Just
like I
trying to
said,
use the bathroom.
No,
Yeah,
I
come
bet she
to-
was happy about it.
yeah, she thought it was hilarious that I drove past her while she was taking a leak. But
That's funny.
Well, yeah, that makes me feel better. You know, I mean,
yeah, so but I mean, you were flashing the guy's wife. That's a little different.
well,
Ah!
like I said, I think the guy at least knew what was going on. I don't know if I
The-
know
What time? What time did you say this was?
This was like 9 a.m. on a Sunday. And, really truthfully, the only real reason it's like kind of bad, right? So the place we're staying, Ryder is sort of a guest there, right? It's not like truly his place, right? And everyone else that lives in this area are like they're just respectable people, right? They don't need this like
Riff-raff.
Yeah, they don't need
Yeah.
this red-necked kid.
it was a riff-raff moment.
It was just a riff-raff moment, and that's really why it was egg on the face. Like, it's like everyone's got to pee. It's not a big deal.
Just
but
was not classy.
it was not classy. That's right, and that's really why it looked bad because you're in this area with these older people that have class. That's why
With
they're
indoor plumbing.
yeah. They've yeah. This house had 2 toilets. Couldn't be bothered to use either one. So
It's usually preferable to take a leak outside than it is to go in a toilet.
well, we like to conserve water.
It's good on the septic.
Yeah, it's good, better for the leach field. But yeah, I mean, so that was a little taste of our weekend. I think, like I said, just mostly because I'm starting to sweat through my shirt here. I think we'll kind of wrap it up.
Did you want to react to one of your videos? I heard this was I think
we should watch. What's a fast food one?
Yeah, I'm curious. That's a funny.
Yeah, I don't
you-
even know. So basically, Carter pulled up my channel page from back in the day, and we've got all these old skits me and Calvin used to. This is not a good one. He's pulling up an old video
That was
of
that
I made for
fleece, though.
McJuggernuggets, McJuggernuggets contest.
That was
Nah.
my favorite fleece of all time.
Oh, it was this one, I think.
All right, well, yeah. Why don't we play this video? This can be our last little thing here. This is one of my first ever YouTube videos that I ever posted.
Well, on this channel.
8 years ago on Air Quote Awesome. I don't really remember what the inspiration was. Ross creation? I don't know. I'm gonna show you how to microwave a pizza.
The Celeste.
First, you have to open it.
This is almost like How to Basic.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's like definitely like.
Then you have to take it out of the bag.
I definitely was emulating somebody here, but I couldn't tell you
Put it
who.
on your plate.
Did you get rid of the crush bar?
When the pizza is on the plate, then you put it in the microwave.
I don't know, did I?
I remember you cleaned the kitchen very well when this happened.
Yeah, I did. I cleaned the kitchen before I filmed
It's
this.
probably going to take about 5 minutes.
I cleaned the microwave too because I didn't want the disgusting microwave. Looking back,
Now-
the disgusting microwave would have been funnier.
Wait. Sometimes, if you hold your head against the microwave for long enough, it starts to talk to you.
I mean, that's not bad, right?
Ta-da!
The worst part is
Wait. Here it comes.
I hope you enjoyed watching me cook this delicious meal.
with the shell.
Now, what's too bad is that video. You broke character at the end there, pretty hard.
I was trying not to gag on the paper plate.
The worst part.
The part that's too bad about that is I think it's a really good video. It's almost palatable for for TikTok and Reels and stuff. Almost, it's a little too long.
You could re-edit that and it could make a good reel. One of the